Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. Julian here with another weekend episode for the weekend of week 3. Now, as usual, guys, this episode is going to cover the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games and what players you can add for those nights that will help you win your week. Before we jump into it, guys, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, if you're already subscribed, check out my Patreon link below. If you do sign up, it would support me a lot, and you would get certain perks like being able to DM me whenever you want to ask me fantasy questions. So let's jump into the content now, and let's take a look at the Weekend 3 schedule. And on Friday, October 27th, there are 6 games. On Saturday, there are 9, and on Sunday, there are 4. So yeah, Saturday's a little bit more busy than the other 2 nights, but it's still not crazy busy and you might still have room in your lineup, so go ahead and check that. So in this video, guys, I'm going to be showing you players that play Friday, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, and then Saturday, Sunday, and you could see what fits best in your lineup and pick up a player based on your actual current situation. So let's take a look at players that play both Friday and Saturday, and there are 3 teams that play Friday and Saturday. Those teams are Los Angeles, Vancouver, and Vegas. If you do want to grab a player to stream from one of those teams for Friday and Saturday, the number 1 player to grab, in my opinion, if he is available, is Chandler Stevenson, playing very well, playing second line with Mark Stone as well as top power play, and has been doing pretty well this year. Ivan Barbashev would be the next guy I would go for, playing on the top line with Jack Eichel. Can't go wrong there. Then William Karlsson has been insanely hot despite being a third line center this year. I do like him right now. Philip Dano was a third-line center in LA, along with Trevor Moore. Both those guys are pretty decent pickups. Both of them have been producing a decent amount this year, so I don't hate that. Then Ilya Mikheyev is finally back from that injury, and in 2 games he's got 2 points and is playing on that top line with Elias Pettersson, so that's actually some pretty good deployment. Arthur Kaliev is the next guy I would pick up. And then Quinton Byfield is top line right now. Hasn't done a whole lot this year, but definitely would be the next guy I would go for. And if nobody else is available, if you're in a really deep league, Paul Cotter is probably the guy I would go for as third in line, but has been hitting and producing a little bit this season. Now, if you want to pick up a guy for Friday and Sunday, there are 5 teams that play those nights: Buffalo, Minnesota, New Jersey, San Jose, and Washington. Now, the number 1 guy that I would stream is Tomas Hertl of the San Jose Sharks. Yes, I know it's the San Jose Sharks, but the Hertl has been pretty much the only productive player over there, and he is their best player, so that would be my favorite streamer. Then Eric Howlett, despite being a third liner the entire year, has been pretty good, has been producing. He'd be the next guy I would grab. Dylan Strome would be the third guy I would go for. He's playing top line and top power play now with Alexander Ovechkin on the Capitals. Despite them not scoring a lot this year, the opportunity is definitely there, and he's been better than most Washington players. Ryan Hartman coming off a 5-point night when I'm recording this. Oh my goodness. 3 goals, 2 assists. Absolutely amazing night for Ryan Hartman. He's playing top line with Kaprizov and Zuccarello and is the next best guy to be adding. And honestly, if the Caps haven't figured out how to score by the time you're picking somebody up, might be even a better grab than Dylan Strome. Then Marcus Johansson of the Minnesota Wild as well as playing top power play over there, and that's a pretty good opportunity. He has been putting up points as of late, so he would be the next guy I would go for. Evgeny Kuznetsov is 24% rostered, is playing second line top power play. Hasn't done too much this year, but definitely has the opportunity this week. Hopefully Washington could start scoring some goals. Andre Palat is playing on the third line and second power play over there. Hasn't been too bad this year and makes for a decent ad for this weekend. Not my favorite, but it's a decent ad. Then I have Casey Mittelstadt, who after last night, I think I might actually move above Andre Palat. Mittelstadt is playing on that second line with Skinner and Tuck, so that deployment's really, really good right now. And he has been producing points, so definitely don't mind that ad for this weekend. Then I have JJ Paderco, who's playing on the third line right now in Buffalo. Isn't the best deployment right now, if I'm being perfectly honest, but he does tend to shoot the puck a little bit, so his floor is okay. Then I have Dawson Mercer, who a lot of people expected to have an amazing year this year. I was a little bit more cautious with him, and he's done a whole lot of nothing. Still, the opportunity is there, and he is getting top 9 time in New Jersey with some pretty good players and second power play time. So you have to think that the points are going to come at some point. I don't mind picking him up if he's floating out there on the waiver wire for this weekend. Marcus Foligno is somebody who's playing on the third line over there, but gets you a decent amount of peripherals with shots and with hits. Then Jordan Greenway is playing on the top line right now with Tage Thompson. as well as Dylan Cousins. That's a really good deployment for him, and hopefully he can sneak in a point or two on these 2 nights that he's playing for you. Then Alex Barabanov and Anthony Duclair are both playing top line with Tomas Hertl. Now in the last game, Alex Barabanov did get hurt, so be cautious of that. Make sure that he's healthy before you pick him up. If he's good to go, if he's got the green light, Barabanov might actually be a pretty decent pickup. He's always been a pretty good sneaky option. If you want someone that plays both Saturday and Sunday, you're out of luck. There are no teams that play both Saturday and Sunday this weekend, so I would not be looking for a player who plays both those days. Don't depend on a guy to play 2 games Saturday and Sunday because there's nobody that fits that requirement. So if you do need to catch up in points, make sure to grab a player that plays Friday and Sunday or Friday and Saturday to get a couple of games from someone. Now, if you wanted to add a defenseman for this weekend because maybe your forward slots are full 1 or 2 of the days this weekend, and you have room for a defenseman for a couple of games, that makes sense. The number 1 guy that I would go for is Owen Power. But before I continue this list, guys, I can't say I recommend really adding a defenseman for this weekend because none of the options are really that great. But Owen Power is your number 1 option there. Hopefully he gets a point or 2 over 2 games. Then Braden McNabb has been putting up a pretty safe floor every single night for you guys. So he's going to put up a little bit of shots, a little bit of hits, a little bit of blocks. And if you're super lucky, he might put up a point in 2 games. Brock Fader would be the next guy I would go for, but hasn't been all that great lately. Hopefully he can show what he was showing near the beginning of the year once again, because I'm not super high on him right now. Filip Hronek, he's still putting up a little bit of peripheral floor. I'm not super confident in him getting points, though. Alec Martinez, so far he's looked great, just blocking once again, and has gotten a couple points. If he can continue that, could be a great ad, but I'm not super optimistic in him actually putting up points frequently. Matt was someone who's very, very safe for a floor. He gives you shots, hits, blocks, a little bit of that. And if you're lucky, you might put up a point. Rasmus Sandin's been someone that I have not liked at all this year, and the Caps haven't been scoring. But if they can finally figure out how to score, Sandin could be someone that could provide some value. Then Mario Ferraro is someone who's actually been really, really good with his floor this year. He's been blocking a lot of shots, been shooting a lot, and has even been hitting a little bit. So that's actually a pretty good pickup. You just need a safe floor. Then Martin Fairbury of the Washington Capitals, also good for that floor, but don't really expect any points from him. Now, if you want a goalie to stream for Sunday, because there are no back-to-backs, I can't tell you, if one player starts Saturday, the other goalie is going to start on Sunday. It doesn't work like that because there are no back-to-backs. But the ones that I can see, Jack Campbell probably plays on Sunday because he has been slightly better than Skinner, but make sure that he's confirmed before you add him because I wouldn't be super confident that he's playing because neither of them are playing all that well. They'll be playing against Calgary, and then either Blackwood or Kakkonen should play against the Washington Capitals, and honestly, with the lack of goal scoring from the Capitals, that actually may not be a bad streamer. Alright guys, so if you're in a categories league, and you need to catch up on shots on goal, or you want to make sure that you maintain your lead in shots on goal because it's close, the number 1 guy that I would add is Ilya Mikheyev. Through 2 games that he's played so far, he's shot 4 times on average. That's really, really good. Obviously, he's not going to keep that up forever. But for now, guys, he's looking great. He's getting top line minutes with Pettersson and is really, really excited to play hockey again, clearly, and is shooting a lot, so definitely don't mind that ad. Then Alex Laferriere, who's actually playing second line minutes in LA, shooting 2.8 times per game. Trevor Moore, 2.7. Ryan Hartman, 2.6. TJ Oshie, 2.6. Eric Haula, Marco Rossi, and Mario Ferraro, 2.5 shots per game. And then Philip Dano at 2.3 shots per game. Now for the blocks, hits, and faceoff wins, I'm using last year's numbers still because I'm not super convinced that they're able to keep up their current numbers, a lot of these players. But the number 1 guy that I would go for is Alec Martinez, who's blocked 3.2 times per game last year and probably will get back to that number once again this year, if not more. Braden McNabb has blocked 2.4 times per game, and then Mario Ferraro last year blocked 2.1 times per game, but I would expect him to get more than that this year because so far he's been really, really good at those block shots, blocking over 3 shots per game, actually blocking 3.2 shots per game on average. So Mario Ferraro may actually be a really good ad if you are looking for blocks. Then Jonas Brodin, 2.1 shots per game. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, 2.1 shots per game, and then Martin Fairbury, 1.9 shots per game. If you need hits, once again, these are last year's number, but Keegan Kolesar hit 3.8 times per game on average last year. Marcus Foligno, 3.7. Noah Juleson, 3.6. Kyle Burrows, 3.4. Paul Cotter, 3.1. Martin Fairbury, 3.2. Com Wilson and Brandon Duhaime, 2.9. And then Andreas Englund, 2.8. If you're looking for face-off wins, the number 1 guy to add is the same guy who I said was the number 1 guy to add for points, and that is Tomas Hertl with 10 face-off wins per game. So that's a really excellent ad there for both face-off wins and points. Then Philip Danault wins 8.4, Chandler Stevenson 8.3, William Karlsson 7.7, Michael McLeod 7.3, Eric Holla 7.2, Nick Dowd 6.6, Dylan Strome 6.5, and Evgeny Kuznetsov 6.3. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my weekend ads video this week. If you did, please drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really do appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end of the video, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.